Good evening. Tonight, we're going to be doing some duty roulettes with Summoner. Basically, it's going to be like as we usually do. It's been a few weeks since we did it last, but generally, we do the roulettes that I typically do. I skip some of them, like MSQ roulette. Gets a little bit boring. And when we finish those, we'll make our way through the new raid on normal for the weekly clear. And if you have a character on the EU data center and your character is high enough level to participate in any of the content, you are very welcome to do so. That means, for example, joining for expert roulette, or trial roulette, or normal raid, or even alliance roulette. You're very welcome to do so. All you have to do is make your way to Louisoire Chaos, as we can see the army pouring in. And then you just have to let me know that you want to join. I think I see a new face. Who's Nelva Toel? Don't know if I have their name in my list. Let me see if I have their name in my list. I don't think... Oh right, that's Hoshi. That's Hoshi. Let me just get that right. Let's see. Hey Lemon, hey Ymir, hey Matthew, hey Sharo, hey Alif. I hope you're all doing very well. Lemon says they're on NA. Ah. There we go. Actually, Sharo and Hoshi, did I ever... I can't remember, did I ask you guys, or you two, what your preferred job is amongst, like, ranged mage or healer? Have I given you an item? Have I given you a gift? Ymir says it was my birthday yesterday. It was very nice. Ah, and then was pulled back again. Well, should I not wish you a happy birthday? Happy birthday, Ymir. I hope it sounded like you had a good time. It's great. Hey, Hazian, how are you doing? You don't tell anyone. No. In that case, Hoshi, what is your preferred role amongst healer, mage, and ranged physical? So not a melee job and not a tank. Yeah. Ranged physical. Right, so what's special about that chest piece is that I made it myself, which means that if you check the crafter name on the very bottom, it should have my name on it. I'm pretty sure it stays like that as long as you don't put it in your glamour chest. As long as you don't shove it into the glamour chest, then it will stay like that. I'm pretty sure that if you put it in the glamour chest, it will forget that. If you care about that. If you don't care, that's fine. It's just, that's what makes that specific chest piece special. Right. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start with expert roulette. We did, however, have a little discussion on the Discord server whether we could actually manage to do expert roulette. We could attempt to do expert roulette with 4 summoners. Now, what I'm going to need to actually attempt that is 3 other summoners, and a better item level is like makes it more possible that it can be done. But ultimately, what you need is going to be item level 605 so that we can queue in. And then we will attempt it. I will say that the moment that it was suggested on Discord, I said it can probably not be done. But if we have 4 summoners, then we can try. So what I need is to know whether we have 4 summoners. Sharo wants to join. Hazian says, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible either, but I would like to see, like, if we land in, like, Lapis Manalis, maybe we can kill the first boss? Like, if we could kill 1 boss, I feel like that would be a victory. We'll still have to go out and queue for actual expert roulette anyways, but I feel like, given that I do advertise these streams as a oops all summoner, for example, I feel like just for once that we should give it a try. Get one shot by every tank buster. Well, let's see. Surprisingly, the tank busters tend to do like 50,000 damage to a tank. So maybe a summoner can live it with Radiant Aegis. Right, so I know we have Shade Prower, who's coming as a summoner. Do we have 2 other summoners that want to join? If you are a summoner that wants to join, raise your hand and say I. And if you're not a summoner who wants to not come, then I don't know what to do. Then just talk amongst yourselves. Casadia switched to summoner. Could that work? Are you level 90? You're level 90. Emia says, I don't know how quickly I can get there. Is there a distance? Like, is it because you're not home yet? Or is it like you said something about 10 minutes. I don't think we have enough summoner. Zip says, I'll glam my ears as a carpungle and pretend to be a summoner. No, we need it to be actual summoners. It has to be a summoner, Coco. And you need an item level of 605. I wish it worked like that, Coco. Lemon says, I'll be summonering with you in spirit. I'll do expert roulette on my summoner in NA. That's the spirit. Well, we can take a little bit of a moment to wait then. I suppose. Asian says, what server are you on? We are on Louisois Chaos. So in EU. So if you have a character that is level 90 and has access to expert roulette and has, summoner at level 90 and an item level 605, then you can be one of the 4 summoners, and we're missing 1 summoner. Oh, we'll give it a little bit. If we can't put the group together, then we can't put the group together. But if I know Umi is coming in a short while, then it's mostly like, are you coming soon? Asian says, I'll get one from scratch, just give me 4 months. I think we're missing a 4th summoner still, Ymir. 4 months isn't too far out. Like, if you're not speedrunning. Is it like that kind of situation with a cat that it refuses to eat unless you're hanging out with it while it's eating? I know some cats are like that. It's taking so long. Maybe it's because your cat knows that you're in a hurry. Oh, you're impatient with me. You want to leave, huh? Oh yeah, yeah. Now, well, in that case, watch me eat in slow motion. That would be the classic, wouldn't it? Yeah, the only way I think there's even a chance we can kill a single boss is like, I don't know how bad it'll be, but there's a genuine chance that we would have to, like, everyone uses Bahamut really quickly, and then when Phoenix is ready, we just spam Ruin and wait, like, don't use Phoenix unless we actually need the healing and stuff like that, right? But we will have to see. One thing that might be helpful is hyper potions. If you have hyper potions, I don't think it's worth investing in them. Just for this meme run. But if you happen to have any on your character, then they might be very helpful to have. They heal for 11,000. That's not 20. That's not even like 20% of your health. In most cases, about 20%-ish. But it's not like going to make a huge splash. Let's say that. Why the queue so long? Oh, it's fine. It could be worse. Remember, for those that played when Endwalker came out, 1,000 plus in queue meant just go to bed. Oh. Gilano's here as well as a summoner. Well, now what do we do? Now we have 5 summoners. I just realized that Matthew has climbed my candy. Okay, Gilano says I'm letting Emir go. Okay, kill one. Alright, you have to face your carbuncles against each other. It is a one-on-one death match. Strongest carbuncle wins. It's pretty funny. Me, like, just tipping the camera, and then I just see Matthew up there, like, oh. But yeah, we will try it. We will, like, just in case someone is watching the stream, like, oh man, this is good. Like, that's going to be such a waste of time. We're going to try with Expert Roulette, just for the memes, just because it would be funny to see, can we do anything? Can we beat something? And then we'll see how far we get. And then we'll do roulette normally after that. And that, of course, also includes hopping out of Expert Roulette and doing it properly. But I think I wanted to give it a fair shot. I want to see, can we do anything with some, like, 4 summoners? Especially since we have 4 summoners. For most of these Duty Roulette streams, it has been a miracle if we had, like, a full party in the first place. So I would never, like, plan this otherwise, because I didn't expect us to actually be capable of, like, presenting 4 summoners. But we are in the extremely lucky situation that today we can. First Carbuncle dead demotes back to Arcanist. I think a PvP duel as a summoner would be extremely meh. Like, just while we're on the subject of 1v1ing summoners. Because, and this is actually a thing that I think is true for a lot of PvP jobs. Because, as you may know, PvP jobs are mostly balanced around being balanced in crystalline conflict, where it's a 5v5. So that of course means that if that a job doesn't need to be balanced in a 1v1, but it does mean that, for example, that a summoner mirror match 1v1 boils down to try to do some damage to the other summoner and then just hold on and then summon your limit break. Just like ninjas PvP 1v1 strategy is do damage, but ultimately you just need to keep the opponent below 50% because the moment your limit break is ready, you just kill them. Whoops. Well, now we get to try and see if we can do it. Don't worry about it, Emir. If it was a problem, I would have just said, we can't wait for that. I don't know which dungeon I'd rather have of the two, but I feel like Lapis would be easier. Make sure you all got your kabungles. Make sure to double check if you're not sure you have a kabungle. Make sure to summon an extra one, because you might not be sure it's yours. Right. Are you ready? We have 4 mobs. Oh yeah, an infinite amount of... oh, whoops, that was a massive mistake. I should not have used rune 4. Ow, ow. If you have seen my solo challenge streams, you know why this is happening. We got 1 pack. We've gotten 1 pack. Next pack. Uh-oh. Sharo is in the dangerous situation of being the best geared, so they do the most damage. Use your heals. It's okay. I have a heal. Just in time. Okay. We've gotten to the 3rd pack. Alif says, rest them. I think you can actually just raise yourself and run back. I don't know if that's better, but you're right. I clicked my Swift Cast Slipstream at a really, really bad time. Remember, kite, run. Imagine the racing music. We're all actually Gran Turismo cars with legs. That is the most likely way we're going to survive this. Is a run as much as you can. Especially if you're the primary target. Everyone else can just go to town when they're not the target. And remember, this gimmicky stuff also works on bosses. This also works on bosses. If it wasn't for the simple fact that... Oh, wait a minute, we could sleep one. I'm going to sleep the marked one. Never mind, that is my bad. I'm going to attempt to sleep it again and say, Kasari, stop attacking it. Stop attacking it and run. It didn't give us very much. Now we have to attack it. Now we have to save Kasari. Just run, use sprint if you can. It's my mistake, obviously. You couldn't react to me saying I'm going to sleep it with a, like, I don't know how many seconds delay on the stream. Alif says Sharo has the highest item gear. Sharo has, like, I'm just going to say I haven't examined Sharo's gear. Wait a second, don't pull. But I happen to know that Sharo is very, very well prepared as of being a red mage main. Like, look at this. Of course, the weapon is because it's a red mage main over here. But all of the other stuff is incredible. Because Sharo was very well prepared for their first experience with that current extreme the other day, where they got a clear. It's very good. It's very, very good. Huge, huge accomplishment. Right. I'm going to do a ready check because I said stop. Okay, I'm going to do a pull timer. No one said no. We could have done devotion dance shenanigans with Radiant Aegis if we wanted to. Oh yeah, right, Call of the Mountain. Oh, the boss repeatedly running to the center might actually work to our advantage. Except the boss outruns me. That is not going to work to our advantage. Weaver says, does that work now? Yes, it does. What you need to do to test it is you need to command your pet to run somewhere. Ow. That did. The only one here who would survive the tank buster is Shade. And then they would die to the immediate auto attack afterwards. I'll show you that it works after this, Weaver. I think I might have raised at a bad time. Yup. I'm dead again. That is my mistake. That was the one time I had to look before I raised. That is my mistake. By the way, if you can make it to Phoenix, then just use it as soon as you can. Because that is the only way we're getting any meaningful amounts of healing. Careful. Oh boy. Does anyone have a raise for a Shade? Oh nice! We have a Phoenix! We have one Phoenix. Make sure to use... Okay, you got the Kindle off. I pray that we survive this damage, because I also have a Phoenix. We got one! Yes! Perfect! Perfect execution! Okay, Weaver asked about the devotion dance. Let me just demonstrate that. So, what the patch notes said is what it meant is before, if you ran around like this and then you pressed, say, Radiant Aegis, then if I'm standing here and my pet is over here and they're like catching up to me, they will cast Radiant Aegis when they get to here, right? So they would actually delay by that distance. But with the patch, what happens instead is that if I click Radiant Aegis as Carbuncle is running, it just stops everything and casts on me immediately. But this is only because follow, basically what they've done in the pet logic is that they've prioritized follow movement below everything else. And the important thing here is that ordered movement is not the same as follow movement. And ordered movement, or God knows why, is highest priority over everything. Hence, you can do this. And then it comes out. Devotion Dance still works. Enemy says, who gets the limit break? Anyone can get to, the limit break as far as I'm concerned. We might actually want to use it on a boss, because the ads, as we've talked about on solo streams, the ads we can just kill with multiple attempts, whereas the bosses we actually need to get down in the first attempt. Only took 5 casualties. I thought it was like 10. Was it only 5? Yeah, honestly, I might not be the one you should be trying to keep alive. I don't think I'm the strongest player here necessarily. We're all approximately equally strong, although Sharo has a significant, like, stat-based advantage. And whoever gets the most aggro is basically going to die. Because, like, we don't have any enmity management, we can't change the target. So if you get, like, the boss aggro too hard, it's just, well, you're going to keep it until you're dead. Also, just with the Devotion Dance thing, it's, as you know, mostly a gimmick, but it's really funny when it works. Like, it's hilarious when it actually works. It just generally doesn't. And we also talked about this a little bit on Discord earlier, that if you actually sleep the mobs, like, that is technically a strategy, but if you sleep the mob, then it also comes with the caveat that then you can't cleave the mobs, and summoners actually have, like, you might think black mages have, like, the monopoly on big AoE damage, but summoner actually has a very impressive amount of AoE damage. So, yeah, true, Alif. Even the auto attacks hurt. That's why the best we can do is just run from everything. Just, like, we have a lot of space to just fall back if we want to. Why is one of the mobs, the one closest to death, so far away? Why are they so spread out? Why are they casting so much? Why are you like this, mobs? Don't be like this. Be more fun. Ah! Nailed it. Another pack down. I don't think we're getting, like, I think we could maybe get this boss, because this boss is somewhat underwhelming in terms of, like, individual damage. I should have done this in a different order. Exactly, Matthew. If 3 DPS make dungeon faster, then 4 DPS should make it even faster. Makes sense to me. Hello, G-Baby? That is a mouthful, that name. How are you doing? That is something that people started to notice a lot when Warrior was like, when people were still like on the honeymoon situation of oh, Warrior's invincible. They started doing expert roulettes with no healers basically. Oh, Cheryl says Phoenix ready. I will use my other stuff first then, so that we might be able to like stagger them or use them when we need them at the very least. Oh man, those auto attacks are mean. Okay, I don't have anything left, so I will use Phoenix now. Oh, whoops. Ah! Uh-oh. Did I make it? I don't think I made it. Nope. That is going to mean that I'm dead. Exactly, no as soon as. Just spam heal for 1% HP heal per cast, yeah. What? Skill issue. Me getting hit by the obvious mechanic is absolutely a skill issue. Oh no, 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 no. I don't think that res is going to go through. Apparently it is. Incredible. The soul scythe, I just need to not... Okay, it doesn't count because it took 0 damage. Excellent. And I'm dead. I'm not dead, apparently. Could any of you use like 1 HP point in these trying times? Oh. Ah, I suppose it doesn't count if you don't live the explosion itself. Remember, you must hone your skills daily. We actually did quite well. Let's try one more time. Let's try one more time. But I do think we may have met our limit. Yeah, it's there's no way to make a physic viable. Like if we were doing like a level 50 dungeon, this would be a lot more possible, simply because we would be able to like grab like leveling gear stuff that happens to have both intelligence and mind on it, and then physic would do something. But because we're so high level, it doesn't work. There's nothing we can do. Like the best healing we have on demand is potions, and if we don't have potions, and it's okay if you don't have potions, then we have Radiant Aegis and a Phoenix once every 2 minutes. Masadi said, remember to summon your ducks. Just use item level 50 gear. Yeah, so why is it your healer only has 5,000 HP? Well, you see, it makes their physic heal for 5% of someone else's HP. Oh! I never realized that. Apparently Limit Break does no enmity. What a random detail. Here come the big damage. Ooh. Yeah, in these cases, that's where like you want to remember that when you're raised, you have 5 seconds of invulnerability if you don't attack. Do we have anything we can help Shade with? I'm guessing the answer is no, but there's like it doesn't hurt to ask. Oh wait, I have something! We all have something. I'll just not use my Phoenix, so that maybe we have a little extra. Oh, watch it. Oh no! My healing aggro made me the tank. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yes, please use Soul Scythe. Watch it, Ymir. Now use, I don't know. Yeah, sure, Soul Nebula. Just don't kill us. Just don't do so much damage that we die from it. Excellent. Now, don't attack. Use something we can dodge. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. Absolutely incredible. What a legend. Yes! Awesome. 2 bosses down. Alif says, Rekindle doesn't work like Excogitation from Scholar. Yes, it does. The only difference is that Rekindle is... So, Excogitation, you place it on someone, does nothing. Then, when they drop below 50% HP, or they drop, or the timer runs out, pops for a lot of healing. Rekindle heals for something up front, and then it places the same trap buff, and it activates either if you drop below, apparently, 75% health. I thought it was 50%, I could have sworn. Or if it runs out. Then it will heal. And yes, Rekindle is based on intelligence. Everlasting Flight is also based on intelligence. I don't know why Physic isn't, but it isn't. It's the only thing that is like this. For some reason. Right. 4 packs and a boss to go. These weak arms are heavy. You said it. Hey Zian, I think it's not spaghetti code. I think genuinely based on the fact that Physic is still like this after a job rework, that it's intentional. Like they want it to be like that for some reason. It is because and it's really weird because the thing is, as far as I could find, the Physic that Summoner has is not the same Physic that it's not the same Physic that Scholar has. So it's not a case of, oh, it's just because, well, the Scholar needs to have it be, you know, mined, otherwise it don't work. Because it's 2 completely different attacks or spells. I believe actually, like, it's really weird like that. Also, welcome to the cult of the pink, Orion. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your popcorn emote. Thank you so much. Oh, right, Phoenix! Oh, apparently I have aggro. I will use Phoenix on myself then. As you can see, solo challenge streams have evolved a little bit. Orion says, physics doesn't scale of intelligence because summoners aren't intelligent, of course. Oh, I see. I suppose that is a legitimate argument. Nice. 2 packs to go. I feel like we've gotten really good at dealing with the random packs. This pack is actually a lot easier. Listen, I will sleep the marked one. I will sleep the marked one. A little bit of an advantage in there only being 2 mobs makes sleep suddenly incredibly overpowered. Elif says, imagine enabling all battle effects. Yeah, you know, actually someone on my summoner guides actually did say, like, they said that maybe a good tip is to, like, limit battle effects for yourself as a summoner because of how insane the spell effects are for, like, savage stuff. Like, how are you going to be able to see a boss mechanic happening? And the answer is pretty much you're not. I got stuck on a little stalagmite. The classic. Uh-oh, Kwasari's going to die, I think. Can we do anything for Kwasari? We'll save you. We have one thing we can do for you. We can kill the mobs before they kill you. Isn't that an incredible healing method, guys? What do you think? White Mage goes, I'm trying my best to heal you. I'm literally killing the mobs as fast as I can. You have to trust me on this. Also, I think it's unfair to say that Alphino can heal while being a faux DPS. Because you have to remember that all NPCs can heal you. Like, Estinian in, like, the level 70 Dragoon quest can heal you. So I think that maybe that's a little bit unfair. Estinian is a legend and a treasure. Ah, of course. He just smiles warmly at you to heal you. That is a good point, Alif. We should have done that. Did the dragon heal you in that fight? Do I remember that wrong? If we all spread out in the room, we might be able to kite him simply by the aggro alternating between us. Uh-oh, I'm in a corner. That's me in the corner. I didn't see which order they spawned in. I'm going down. Oof! Wait, I'm not going down. I'm not dead. I'm somehow not dead. I'm dead. I'm not dead. I'm dead. You may want to raise someone if you can. I'm somehow not dead. Kid named one auto attack. I'm not going to help you with that. Ow. Alright, Shade. We have a DPS check. We have a DP. Oh dear. Yup. I'll leave that. You enjoy that, I guess. Don't take the rest. Do not take the rest. Don't take the rest. Don't take the rest. Do not take the rest. Do not take it. Take it now.
What? Right. How do you like that?
Ah. Ah, that is the saddest race. Oh.
Brace yourselves.
Kasadi says again. We can try it one more time. We also got 2 tries in the second boss. What we have to do though is we have to wait for Shade's Brink of Death debuff before we start. Otherwise we're just making it harder for ourselves, and as you can observe, it's not something we need. Oh yeah, we also have limit break for this try. Exactly, that, like what I'm seeing is that we're just getting peppered with like the auto attacks hit too hard, the raid wide attacks hit too hard. There's just too much. It makes it very hard to actually do anything. I did, Shade says, I did the Joe style strategy. Run away! Oh no! Just win, Lamel. Just like why haven't we beaten the boss yet, guys? Surely we know the strategy of just don't die. Just don't die, Lamel. Shade says, do you all use food buffs? I actually haven't. That is a good point. That would probably make things a little bit easier. Doesn't have to be the premium. If you just have like some decent food, that's good enough. I think what we need mostly is the 10% extra, well, the 10 extra, 90 extra vitality. Do everyone have sprint? Do everyone have prepared themselves? Eat egg. The reason I'm asking about sprint is because I think sprint might be incredibly helpful for this. 20 seconds, okay. Just let me know when it's ready, both Ymir and Shade. Alright, Ymir, in that case, the food buff is, it's 1 vitality. It's technically not nothing. High potion of intelligence. I don't think that's going to change very much. It's going to give you like 1% more intelligence. It's better than nothing. Tincture of... Why do you have tinctures of vitality? Question. Does anyone use tinctures of vitality? Hey Minato, how are you doing? Does anyone use... Like, is there any mechanic that I haven't heard of where you actually need to use a tincture of vitality? I'm pretty sure the answer is no. I'm pretty sure that there's nothing where you'd need a tincture of vitality. Exactly, Lemon. It's like every time you see tinctures of vitality, you're like, oh yeah, that's a thing. Oh, it's from a map, so it's just a random drop. Let's try this again. Dex does not help. Summoners can... Technically, we could use a strength tincture for a little bit of books max, but otherwise only intelligence will help us. I will do the big old limit break.
I've been waiting so long. Don't disappoint.
For a second there, I thought I missed.
Brace yourself.
Okay, someone already did idle, that is good.
I bring my all to bear.
I'm making a huge mistake by being on the same side as whoever was second on aggro. Like, I needed to be on the other side so that Kagnatsu had to run a little bit. Ow. No, Shade!
Drink deep of blackest terror.
Remember, Shade, if you don't do anything, you will be invulnerable for 5 seconds. Whoa. Guess what I have, guys? I have a phoenix! No! Ow! Don't help me! don't do it! Don't do it! You'll die!
Battle does so whet the appetite.
Cursed Tide. Suppose we could raise for that one. Again, I think it's best to not help with the stack marker, which unfortunately means that Ymir, you are you're a poor unfortunate soul, is what you are. F's in the chat. Is that race going to go through?
Be swallowed by the tide.
Oh boy.
What? That's not right.
You're right, Kagnatsu. That is indeed not right.
How do you like this?
I don't like it. Please don't do it. Don't kill me. No, don't do it. Don't. Ow. Wow, I didn't even know it could have like 2 target. Oh my. Oh, Tank Buster. Let's see how much damage it does at the very least. 69,000. Nice.
I've been waiting so long. Don't
Blah. um. I think it's not going to happen, fellow summoners. I don't think we. I think we need someone here needs to like. Why is it we brought 4 books, and no one considered bringing a shield? Like seriously. Like, what are we doing? And no one considered like mastering healing a bit better. Like, we should have talked with a scholar. Hoshi says, I think it's possible if you're prepared enough, like with potions and so on. I think the only way it might be possible is like if we all had perfectly equally good gear, so we all did like approximately the same DPS, and then as we like enter the boss room, we spread out to one corner of the arena each, so that Cagnazzo would have to run some distance every time someone over aggros. And then we like carefully spread our damage so that Cagnazzo spends most of the fight just running. I think that is the only way that there would even be a chance we could do it. But yeah, I think this was it was a good try. It was also really fun. It was really fun, but I don't believe we can do Cagnazzo. I don't think we can do it. So we will do the correct thing and vote abandon. Did something happen? I clicked the button, right? Because if you click leave, you might get, as Coco put it, banned from roulettes for 30 minutes, and we don't want that. Never again shall I make this mistake. Right. And oh yeah, Gilano says, and that's Aridel, says they just can't remove tinctures of vitality because it's needed for an alchemist quest. That is fair, but there's no reason they keep adding new ones that no one uses. Like, I mean, I guess it's very cheap. It's like the same icon as all the other ones, so it's like it doesn't add very much extra work. Like 1 extra item ID is just fine, right? Yeah, we could probably do it with 1 tank and 3 summoners. Do you want to do that? Do we want to try that, or should we do it for real? Yes. Let's try. We can try. I think we're going to rely heavily on your clemency though, Shade. This might be the stream where we don't get through the full list of roulettes I normally do. Someone click no. I mean, Paladin, Warrior. Warrior is pretty strong for healing as well. The main benefit that Paladin gets is that it can cast Clemency every so often, but the amount of healing you get out of Clemency is, like, over the course of a fight, not that much more than Nascent Flash probably is. Let's see how far we get with the roulettes. Ultimately, what matters is that we're having fun. Remember to summon your carbuncles. I shouldn't use that one, I should this one. There we go. Imagine knowing how to AoE as a summoner, am I right? That was way easier. We should have just done this from the start. We brought help. We figured that maybe bringing someone with plate armor would be efficient. When the thing killing us is you punching us. At least the mobs will be in one place. That does help a lot on the AoE. I feel like we managed to like spread them all over the place while somehow still having them clumped up closely enough that it was not a big issue. We also have the advantage of that if someone dies for some reason, we have 3 that can raise. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Coco says, I did not take a nap after an after work nap today. Are you proud of me? I am proud of you. That is a good job. Weaver says I was AFK. I see you added a healer. Yeah. We actually managed to squeeze. We dropped one summoner and somehow found a tank and a healer that fit in a single party slot. It's quite wild. Nailed it. We found a blue healer. It's also a blue DPS. It's really strange. Final Fantasy XIV is a weird game. It's really awkward with all these summoners. Where do I put my rekindle? I suppose that's something that's missing from my summoner guide. What do I do if there's like 4 summoners? Do we all need to use rekindle on the tank? Is that not a little bit much? Excellent. Wow, this is so much easier. And so far, I don't feel like we're missing a healer that much. going pretty well. Another searing light. So many searing lights. I think we were our first try. We were in for 40 minutes before we gave up. And that, of course, includes everything. Both our wipes and everything else. Oh boy. Though that loses some of the comedy value. That is true. It was really funny. That is also why I thought that it was worth giving it a try. It was funny, but we also want to get stuff done. Four summoners is funny, yet impractical. Yeah. I'm just saying that if physic worked, right? If physic worked, then it would be a lot more interesting. Then it would be a lot more like at least plausible that maybe there's a chance we could do it. But the simple fact that we have nothing is just too big of a barrier. It's just too much to work with. Like, I think that's we could possibly do it if we had physic, because then we could, like, while the boss was auto-attacking, we might be able to offset the absurd amount of damage you take simply by having, like, 2 summoners spamming physic on the person being hit. But yeah, I would say I was hoping that we would be able to kill 1 boss. So us managing to kill 2 bosses is, like, incredibly well done. And we did get far into the final boss as well. Like, we actually managed to get past, like, the DPS check. It's just, unfortunately, our group was too weak after said DPS check to actually recover. And there's not much we could do about it. Elif says, every job would love to get to spam AoEs on mobs without issue, but if I play DPS, the AoE dumping feels so much more satisfying. That is true. The bigger damage numbers and a rotation with a few more tools for it makes it a lot more interesting. Even if it's still just mash the AoE button. And Shade says, another thing I noticed is we kill much faster. Oh yeah, it tends to do that when no one's dead. Exactly. Like, both because we're not dead, but also because, like, I regularly had to skip, like, Slipstream and Ruby Right, because it was just too dangerous to use those tools, and we needed to save Swiftcast for a race, just in case, so we couldn't use that either. And then, like, when you lose, like, 1.5 primal because of that, that has an effect on your damage. Because what do you think I was doing instead? Not attacking, because Ruin would also take time to cast, and if you're kiting, you can't cast. Also, we didn't get the second jump mechanic, that's true. I wonder if we'll kill Cagnazzo during the Void Cleave mechanic. That would be my guess. That he dies during the Void Cleave mechanic, the one where we died on previously. When it started, typically. It's getting a little dicey. Hey, Kyan. We tried to do this with 4 summoners. We got to here. Like, we literally got to here. And then we couldn't kill the boss. We got like halfway through.
I've been waiting so long. Don't disappoint.
Oh, right, we already had the Searing Light, that's my bad. In retrospect, we could probably also have saved the Limit Break as well, but I had a feeling we would forget, like that it would not come up if we waited that long. So might as well open with it and get it over with. Maybe. Oh, Shell is dead. I will raise, I think. Yes. Oh, Kasadi does it. And I'll use mine on Slipstream. I pray this is a safe spot. Every single safe spot I checked just got covered when I finally went to it.
You really must try harder.
Oof. Do you have Shake It Off, or is that on cooldown, Shade?
Battle does so whet the appetite.
Alif says... like my Garuda was huge. I'm pretty sure they were the same size. It's just that because Garuda has like that huge wingspan, she looks bigger. I have all of my summons to be small, so it should be the same. But it was pretty cute.
What? That's not right. How do you like that?
I'm pretty sure that your own summons aren't going to be bigger. It's just the same for everyone. I'm pretty sure. Ah, okay. the attacks hit her.
Good. A fitting flow.
Okay, so the fight took longer than I had anticipated. We also would have had limit break too, apparently. I think. Since we got another limit break 1. Nice. That's very good. Thank you. Thank you for the door in front of me. Right, so next we're doing level 90 roulette. And we're doing that with more normal group compositions. So if there's anyone that wants a break, we can figure out rearranging groups if you like. I can see that Gelano's ready as a healer. Someone has to play healer, so if no one wants to play healer, then we have to rearrange the group. Kasada says, I will go to eat now. Okay, thank you for joining. Would you like to come along then, Gelano? I happen to know that Coco and Sip are making a group for themselves. Nelva could do Sage, that is also an option. I asked Gelano as well. So like, it's a good thing if we can like mix up, like, because we're a lot of people here. I'm sure everyone would like to come along for some stuff. So I would like to I think maybe Gelano was talking to Sip or what? Both groups, well, our group needs a healer. I believe Sip's group does not need a healer because Sip is in it. So, for example, Nelva could join Sip for some roulettes and then have the opportunity to not have to play healer. Depends on your preference. What do we? Who's joining who? I can't see who's joining Sip, so I need to know if like what we're doing. Is this fine? I wouldn't want you to join as a healer if you're very anxious about it, Hoshi. Like, normally I would say it's really good to play with like people that like that you're okay, you know, that they don't mind. But it might like give you even like feel like even more pressure when you're doing it on a live stream, if you understand. So like. Right. Everyone was ready. What dungeon are you? Any bets? Do you think we get final days? Or End of Days? Can't remember. Oh, we get Smileton. That's pretty good. That's pretty fun. I often queue specifically for Smileton when I need footage of something specific. Simply because Smileton's final boss has a bunch of tank funny gimmicks, and also more importantly, if I'm showing off how to play like a tank in a dungeon, it is a dungeon that is very like spoiler safe. It's not like it's a dungeon where seeing it is going to be a problem. Like story wise. By the way, is Matthew still up on the candy? Because I remember Matthew sat up there before we went into the summoner only stuff. Kansas, all I know about Smileton is bunnies. Yeah, exactly. And it's not just it's bunnies, it's like out of context, it's like just a crazy house, right? Just a house of madness. And it makes no sense. Like, where are we even? So that's like pretty good if you want to like show off a dungeon at max level, but you also don't want to spoil a sprout. Guy, the sprout spoiler. No, I'm not. I try not to. But sometimes it's difficult. Like, how do you show how to play the job at max level while also not showing any max level content? You're right, Gilano. If you know what this is, then it's like a giga spoiler. But out of context, it's not really, like, you can't really do very much with what you're seeing here. And that's like the important thing. Like, for example, the End of Days dungeon. I've seen people that said that because they were at like level 87 MSQ, they kind of got spoiled in a way. Simply because they could see things they recognized. It's like how when you see, like, how should I say, it's like with the distance from the like Endwalker part of the story to like A Realm Reborn, if you're still in A Realm Reborn, the biggest spoiler that would actually make sense to you as a player would be like, oh, Rauban is still alive, for example. Because, you know, if Rauban is alive in Endwalker, that means that when you get to the parts in Heavensward where he is actually in danger of dying, that kind of loses its teeth when you know that Rauban is alive in Endwalker. Like, as an example. Of course, Rauban isn't the most important character to the story, but Shade says, which boss music out of the dungeons do you love the most? Do you mean like a specific boss song, or do you mean like a dungeon song? And does it have to be a dungeon, or can it also be a raid? I'm going to need some more details. Dungeon song. My favorite dungeon song. I think that might be Mortal Instance from Amarot. That's actually a song that I have attempted to use in a video, but it's just a little too intense. Oh, I specifically called the dungeon that Nelva landed in. So, wait, so that means Sid is over there doing Amarot. Well, there you go. That is pretty funny. But yeah, I really like basically all of the incarnations of Neath Dark Waters, where Amarot is one of them. There's a reason why, if you watch some of my older videos, basically all of them run with that song instead of a Cradle of Hope, which they use now. Because it's a little bit more like a happier song, I feel like. Which I feel is a good thing. But yeah, that is actually an interesting question. What are you guys' favorite dungeon song? Jade says, I love the Stormblood dungeon end boss music. Or end boss theme. That is nice. Let me put it like this. When I was playing Stormblood, I was not like back in Stormblood. I was still very new to the game in a way, which resulted in me not like paying that close attention to the music in the game. So it didn't actually occur to me for a very long time that the end boss music from Stormblood was distinctly different from Heavensward and The Realm Reborn, because I wasn't listening very closely. Coco says Papaya is a good dungeon song. I don't think Papaya is a dungeon song, is it? Seven Flames from Shadowbringers isn't my favorite, but it's good. What is that one from? Pagulthan. Ah. I can't really remember that one. It's like one of those where when you enter the dungeon, it's like, oh yeah, that one. At least for me. That's not to say that it's bad or anything, it's just that it didn't like hit me as like extremely good. But it's probably like, as you said, it is my favorite, but it's good. And I would say there's a lot of songs in Final Fantasy XIV that is like that for me. Yeah, it's not bad. It's fine. Matthew's not there. I'm guessing that Matthew might have been like hanging out while they were queuing for something. Coco says I have the music turned off. That is a shame. That's a lot of music you're going to miss out on. And Gilano says the burn. That is also a really good one. That is like surprisingly awesome, in my opinion. Like, here's a little behind the scenes. When I'm grabbing tooltips from my videos, I typically do that. Like, if I need a tooltip that changes at higher levels, but I need the version that is like lower level, like for example, if you want to show Gnashing Fang before you get continuation, and it says that it gives you Rip and Tear, then you can queue into a level 60 dungeon, and then you can just use that. And that's typically how I do it, and I typically choose specific dungeons for it. Like with the level 60 dungeon, I usually queue into, like, I jump into Bales's Wall in a unrestricted level sync. And for level 70, I jump into the Burn. For level 50, I jump into Snow Cloak. And level 80, I jump into Armor Rod. And it's partly based on, oh, I like this song, because I'm going to be there for like a few minutes while I'm taking pictures of tooltips. I need pictures, Peter. Pictures of tooltips. I want Spider-Man! Spider tooltip! Oh, guess I'll not use Ruby right then. I'll just use Ruby wrong. This blood wedding is too darn long. It needs to be deleted. I want pictures of the tooltip man. Yeah, that's true, Gilano. Whenever you land in the twinning, people are dancing by the time you anyone gets out of the cutscene. I remember back when the twinning was actually in like a roulette you would do on the rigs. Like back when Shadowbringers was completely new, and it was like Academia and Nider. The twinning and Armor Rod was the like the roulette that you wanted to do every day. Is the twinning from Shadowbringers? Yes, it is one of the optional dungeons from Shadowbringers, so it's actually like the Shadowbringers equivalent of this dungeon. Which is also why when people realized how funky the rhythm of this dungeon was, they generally called it like the equivalent of Endwalkers. Like it was Endwalkers the twinning. It's so interesting that this boss has like this whole gimmick with placing down mines that messes with dodging the other mechanics. It's just also really funny that the mechanic can that gimmick can be nullified by the clever trick of taking 0 damage from it. Shade says, was this right? If it was me doing it, Shade, I would have only removed the front mine, like the mine up here near the boss, because if you have cleared the front mine, then no one's going to go to the back. Like, if this area in front, like in the frontal half of the arena is safe, then people will just stay here. So you can save yourself some time if you get Smileton another time by just leaving the mine up here in the back. You can just leave that one. There's also the part that I know for certain that Warrior and Dark Knight can soak one of the mines safely with their barrier. I don't know if they can survive, if they can take both. But yeah, exactly, it's all about uptime, because if you don't remove the mine, then the melee jobs will have to walk away to dodge stuff. But that's basically it. It's like, it's a very small optimization when it comes to it, but it's really cool to be able to do it. In my opinion. Where did Matthew actually go off to? Can we find Matthew? Can we see what Matthew's up to? Is Matthew raiding? Ooh, Matthew is raiding. Well, as far as I can see, we are 3 now. And the other group is doing, what's it, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they would not want to do that again. So do we just jump into 5, 6, 7, 8? 5, 6, 7, 8. Emian says, can I tank? Yes, you can. It seems like the spot is vacant. Are you ready, Emir? Leaf says, I'm craving samurai suddenly. I'm going to watch Guy's samurai VOD sometime this week. Oh, I hope you enjoy it. That one is a little older, isn't it? I don't know how long it's been since we did samurai. I do remember I had fun writing the thumbnail where I wrote, whoopsie, all samurai instead. And yeah, it's a Ellison tank healer combo. It's like on Rewind Replay where we had the Small Kai and her bodyguards. Ugh. Tamtara Deepcroft hard again. I think we got this last time we had one of these streams as well. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we got this one. Lana says, I hope it didn't change since my last time. It hasn't changed. It's equally like one of those dungeons where, oh boy, where if you don't know, then you might just die to a boss, not understanding why. Oh yeah, the story of this dungeon is very depressing, absolutely. But it was more to say that I feel like we've gotten this dungeon. Like, remember, this is 50, 60, 70, 80 roulette. We could have gotten any 50, 60, 70, or 80 dungeon, pretty much. But I'm pretty sure we've gotten this dungeon on these streams like 3 or 4 times. Like, I'm pretty sure. Is it still invulnerable? Can I shoot it? Can I shoot you? Jade says, from the 5, 6, 7, 8, I hate Hawk Manor hard, mostly because you can do too much damage? Is that really a thing? I feel like I've never run into that problem, even having done that dungeon. This is awkward as a job that has like built-in random AoE on many of their attacks. That is also very awkward. So if you're wondering what happened, if you kill the ads with your own power, they explode. If you kill them with the giant pink spread marker instead, then they just die. Holman's done leveling. That's really nice. Like that's in like the higher end. I don't know. I don't mind getting a low level dungeon. The only reason why this was like is just because we've gotten this specific dungeon, this one specifically, enough times that I feel like we've had it like a bunch of times. Alif mentions Holminster does a lot of damage and is painful for healing. I feel like the entry dungeon to expansions tends to be like weirdly difficult because like you don't have all of your new tools yet, for example. It's particularly problematic with Endwalker because the dungeons, like the dungeon is balanced around like being level 82, and the tanks get like their defensive cooldown upgrade at level 82. So if you don't have it, you're really in trouble. Kyan says, is Machinist a good job to do Palace of the Dead? Machinist is allegedly the best job in the game to do Palace of the Dead. Since Endwalker, there's been like a little bit up in the air about whether Summoner's better, but Machinist has always been like a clear favorite for Palace of the Dead, and it is also very, very good for Heaven on High. The front-loaded damage of Machinist really helps it there, and the fact that it has an interrupt and can run and gun all the time is really nice. Like, it just has everything you'd want. The only thing it's missing is that it doesn't have a lot of healing. But that is slightly offset by the fact that you can use those potions that just regen HP throughout the entire fight. So if you're looking for a job to try some Palace of the Dead with, then absolutely, Machinist is not a bad pick. This was actually also something that in a video from a while back that I made, I believe it was called something like why good jobs can be bad while raiding, or something like that. The whole point of this, it was that at the time, Warrior, Paladin, and Machinist, and to some degree, like, Red Mage too, were considered, like, on the edge of being too weak to actually be, like, good in a Savage Raid team. It wasn't really that bad, but you know how, like, some of the more hardcore Savage Raiders can get sometimes, and that can knock on to party finder groups and stuff like that, and suddenly they don't want a Red Mage, or they don't want a Paladin because they saw this post this one time that said so, that they're not good enough. And the point was that part of the reason why, for example, Machinist isn't that good, or wasn't that good, I should say, because it has really become better now, is that it was taxed for being a ranged, and it was taxed for having utility, just having utility and having endless mobility. Like, a lot of things that in Savage Raid teams doesn't actually matter. Most of the time, your DPS jobs having an interrupt isn't actually really meaningful on a raid, like on a Savage Raid boss, because so does your tank. But all of these things that Machinist got, like, a tax on its damage for, made sense the moment you took one step into Palace of the Dead. Because in Palace of the Dead, all of these things are extremely good. So that was, like, the idea. Lone Fenrir says, new player question, did Endwalker give classes new abilities? And will classes get more abilities in the future, or are they completed now? First thing, classes are the things that you are for the first 30 levels of the game. What you are turns into a job by level 30, and classes stop getting actions, like, just period, at level 50. Some even sooner than that. But jobs have gotten new abilities in Endwalker, and we are expecting to get more things with the next expansion. However, we don't know what that will be. I hope that answers the question, Lone Fenrir. Alif says, question, can we actually see the amount of HP of our enemies? I saw a bit some time ago, and they could see the boss's HP. That is a third-party tool. There exists a third-party tool that allows you to see precisely how much HP enemies have. Real time. That is a thing. But it's a third-party tool. Correction, you didn't see it. Oh yeah, exactly, Ali. If you didn't actually see that, you could see the boss's HP. It didn't actually exist. I'm just kidding. Right. Lone Fenrir says, so job rotations will continue to evolve and expand. Presumably, what we've seen is that that as each expansion has come out, they have like added like less things to the rotation. Like they've like skimped out a bit on new entire things on the jobs and just like built on existing things. What is a good example of that? Maybe I can do it with Warrior. Like Warrior from level 50 to 60, you get 4 new things. 60 to 70, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 new things. Then from level 70 to 80, you get 1 new thing. And then you get like 4 passive things that give you cool stuff, but technically it gives you no new buttons. No new buttons. But it changes your rotation still. And from 80 to 90, you got like 2 new things and 1 thing was replaced. And again, you got some passives. So like they keep building on it, but exactly why like how they upgrade depends. Like it varies. So yeah, you should expect the jobs to continue evolving. It's just hard to say by how much, and simply due to how they change things in the game. Due to how they change things in the game, the way jobs played in Shadowbringers have changed drastically to Endwalker. Even with the few amounts of actions they've added, because they've changed other things. So if you're wondering about that, I can assure you that they're going to change jobs. They're going to continue changing jobs. And Coco says, we have a full raid party. Yeah, I think so. And that is also true, Weaver. Astrologian and Dragoon are expected to have a pretty major rework, but we don't know how much. The only thing we know about it is that a recent... oh yeah, we could have used limited leveling red. Oh, too late for that now. We have Sunken Temple. My bad. I'm still not used to having a full group. A full group of players all the time. I don't think we can abandon, can we? Yeah, it must wait 15 minutes, and that's about as long as the dungeon is, so we have to do it. That pack is skippable, by the way. Fun fact. But yeah, the only thing we know about the reworks of Dragoon and Astrologian is that with patch 6.4, which came out recently, Dragoon got like a quality of life thing that their jump no longer it like drags you to the target's location as part of the attack. That is no longer a thing. That's important because we were told that that was actually slated for the 7.0 rework, which means we can surmise that in 7.0 jump still exists, which probably doesn't surprise anyone. Alif says, any reason why Square Enix didn't include that in Final Fantasy XIV? You mean didn't include letting you see how much HP enemies have? I think the answer there is that usually that kind of information is something that, like, Final Fantasy doesn't just give you. Like, in any Final Fantasy game, they don't normally just tell you that. They kind of, you have to work for it. Like, it has to be like a character casting scan or something, and we don't even have that in this game. But it's also because I think maybe they were inspired by World of Warcraft, and in World of Warcraft, the only reason why you can see exactly how much HP enemies have in World of Warcraft is because everyone plays with add-ons that lets you see it. Gilano says playing White Mage without Holy is a sin. At least you have Stone. Shade says, in Final Fantasy 1 and 2, you need to kill the mob a few times, then you can gain a book entry where it tells you how much HP the mob has. Yeah, so that still means that you wouldn't know exactly how much HP the mob has while you're fighting it, unless you're actively, like, keeping track in the middle of the fight. Which you could, since I believe Final Fantasy 1 and 2 is entirely turn-based, so you could just take your time. Kosari says, I'm intrigued to see how Yoshi will rework Dragoon. I am interested too. And it was not to suggest before that they would remove Jump. It was more the fact that we know that Jump works pretty much the same way in the reworked version as it will work now, because of this, like, this quality of life change being applicable still, despite it not being the reworked Dragoon, right? This pack is skippable. Like, they could have made it into a weapon skill that works in a completely different way, for example. That could have been a thing, but they didn't do that. Probably based on the fact that we have this. The next pack is skippable too, are you sure? Do they not chase us into the dungeon? Oh, slow walk. I don't think you can do that if you have enemies chasing you. Are you sure all of them are skippable? I'm pretty sure the Condemned isn't blind. Is it? That was maybe pushing it. Just bumps into them up, excuse me. Well, now we know. That was really funny. Shade, hurry! Hurry! The door's closing! Rip the slow walk squad. Well, we almost had him, but then we didn't have him. This makes me think of when we soloed this dungeon with Dark Knight. This fight, I remember, it was really close many times. And we had to like kite it for a while every now and then. And we had to break the soul stone like 5 or 6 times too. It was not easy. But I am also very curious what they're going to do with the jobs that they've said they reworked. And part of the reason why, for those that might be out of the loop on this one, part of the reason why many of the like Astrologian and Dragoon mains are very scared of a rework is because Summoner got this kind of announcement in Shadowbringers. A lot later in Shadowbringers, I believe. But they did get the, yeah, you're getting a rework in the next expansion kind of announcement. And the job is so different that it's not the same job. There's a lot of players that like played old Summoner that do not like new Summoner. Minato says, I saw this in a leveling daily, but someone mentioned that Dynamis is getting 4 more worlds this Summoner. So I looked it up on the lodestone, and yeah, it is. I wonder, do you think we'll hear about them soon? I have no idea. I didn't actually think much about it. I'm guessing, like, if we get 4 more worlds, then, like, if they're coming this summer, then we're getting them. I don't know. I think the awkward thing whenever we get new servers is that what happens is that the new servers are kind of like awkwardly empty, need to get filled up, and the main incentive people find to like fill a server is, well, I mean, that means we get to have a house there, probably. You just tip them with nothing on them, don't you worry. Just spring the trap. Weaver says, I'm thinking that Astrologian might get the same treatment, given that it is a busy job and they seem to want to trend in another direction. Yeah, you might be right. I think what they might do, like, so my guess, just shot in the dark, my guess is that they might completely overhaul how the cards work, because the big problem with the cards, and I hope that a lot of Astrologian mains will agree with me on this. The problem with the cards is that the old guard of Astrologian mains wanted the like super random cards that can do all sorts of weird shenanigans. That's what they want, and that's gone. And they don't want anything else. They don't want this like watered down RNG stuff. They wanted actually super random cards. And the developers don't want that. They don't want to do that. So there's no way to satisfy those players. So instead of doing that and satisfying no one, I imagine that they might remove the random factor of the cards in some way. Like, they might overhaul the whole card system in a way that allows you to play cards with no randomness and then make the effects more interesting. That's what I would hope. Also, hey Neil Rory, how are you doing? But that's like my one guess. Another thing you could say is there is a possibility that they would remove dots because of every other job that has received significant changes in the last, like, since Endwalker has been like, right, let's see here. Summoner gets a rework, remove all the dots. Right, Paladin gets a rework. Dots? Goodbye. So like Dragoon, Chaotic Spring, you're dead. Astrologian, Combust, good luck. You might survive on account of the other healers having dots still, but there's a good chance you're on the chopping block. Gunbreaker has a dot. Yeah, for now. Remember that the Sonic Break is like the Gunbreaker's equivalent to Goring Blade. And Barrel Shock is the equivalent to Circle of Scorn, which Paladin managed to keep. But I'm just saying that it would not surprise me if the reworked jobs become dotless. Oh wow! Next is Minato says, does Dark Knight not have a dot? If Salted Earth counts as a dot, then you could say that they have a dot. If that doesn't count as a dot, then they don't have a dot. Warrior does not have a dot. They used to have one back in like Heaven's Ward and A Realm Reborn. Whether we need 2 tanks depends on what fight we get, and the worst that can happen is that we have to freestyle it a bit. There it is good that we can also have 2 tanks. We don't need 2 tanks, but if someone wants to tank, go ahead. The interesting thing is if you have a full party and you queue for an 8-man roulette, you can use whatever you want. The game doesn't care. That's how we did 4 summoners in Expert Roulette earlier. Lemon says, Scourge was a dot. Oh yeah, that's true. Dark Knight had a dot. The reason why I mentioned Warrior's dot was because Warrior has no dot, while Dark Knight has, like, almost a dot? Oh, 8 summoners run, let's go. No, 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 no. That's not gonna work. But yeah, that's true. Dark Knight used to have a lot of cool things. Scourge was a dot. They used to have an enmity combo, just like Warrior and Paladin used to have. And their Dark Arts was like a spell or an ability you'd use that empowered your next action, and that actually boosted the enemy. I believe it boosted the enmity generation on their enmity combo finisher if you used it on that, which allowed them to like boost their enmity generation quite heavily if they wanted to. And Scourge was a dot, and Reprisal, you know, the roll action, was, I believe, an attack. It was an attack that required you to parry. It required you to parry an attack, then you could retaliate with Reprisal, which did some damage and reduced the damage of that target only. When Reprisal was made into a roll action, they removed the damage and made it a single target damage reduction, and then eventually they made it like an AoE damage reduction because it was too difficult to use, I guess. I don't think limited leveling roulette works for anything other than leveling roulette, but I'll turn it on just in case it works. Coco? Lone Fenrir says, I heard there's a quest in Shadowbringers that needs you to have one class of every role. Is this true? There are 5 role... Is it 4 or 5 role quest lines, which requires you to... If you want to finish this, you need one of every role. However, only one of them you have to do to complete the story. The other ones are optional. And exactly, Minoto. Back in before Shadowbringers, all well, actually, Paladin had a stance that made their auto attacks hit really hard, and a stance that made their enmity good and them take less damage and them do less damage. Warriors had one that increased their damage by a bit and allowed them to use Fell Cleave and Decimate, and a stance that made them take and do, well, it made them have more health and receive more healing, which indirectly makes them, you know, take less damage because of effective health, and also made them do less damage and didn't allow you to use Fell Cleave. And Dark Knight had a stance, Grit, that made you take less damage and do less damage and allowed you to use some effect that made it so that you gained MP every time you were hit. But it meant you couldn't use Blood Weapon. If you then took off your tank stance, like took it off, then you could use Blood Weapon, and that meant that the damage stance of Dark Knights was just not a stance. Kind of weird. And that also had the interesting knock-on effect that, or the interesting resulting effect that Paladin's stances were like spells, I believe. They were on the GCD, so it was very costly to switch for Paladin. Warrior's stances were abilities, but you lost your gauge if you switched. And Dark Knight, because their stance was a spell, but you just had to remove it to switch out. It meant that it cost a GCD to switch to tank, but it didn't cost anything to jump out again. Minoto says, was Dark Arts not the damage stance? Nope. Dark Arts was an ability you'd use that made it so that your next action that had a Dark Arts effect would be empowered. For example, most actions that didn't have any synergy just had does like 140 more potency, something like that. There was also, for another example, sorry Emir, just a moment. For example, Dark Passenger was like a lion AoE that you could cast. Cost some MP, just did some damage. But if you used Dark Arts and then Dark Passenger, it would do more damage, which actually makes its damage kinda okay, and then it also would apply a blind to all of the enemies hit, unless it was a boss. Abyssal Drain didn't have a cooldown, but it cost MP back then, but it only healed you if you used Dark Arts first. Which meant that if you only needed the damage, you'd use Unleash, which cost MP, but if you needed healing, you'd go Dark Arts, Abyssal Drain. Lemon says, do you have any videos on job history? I have a few. I have a playlist with them. I'll just link that, I suppose. I can figure out how to link that. And I have a few, not on Dark Knight, but I have some. Right. Okay. So are we everyone still fine? I'm going to do one more ready check, and we actually go this time, okay? Yeah, I also missed the Abyssal Drain shenanigans. The font there's a little bit difficult to read. Is it Malicious Cuddlepaw? Oh, Titan. Card. Yeah, I said Cuddlepaw. The saddest thing with the Abyssal Drain thing is that it made Dark Knight temporarily capable of healing at like to the point that Warrior can do now. They can just do that. But for a very temporary time period, simply because you needed MP to do it. Yeah, that's right, Justice. It's just one for each role, and physical DPS was considered just one for some reason. I wonder why they did it like that. I suppose they just had 4 stories to tell. Cool. Landslide, bruh. Double kill. Well, they go together. We go together. No, not me. My damage. My damage. Thank you. That's a little bit unfair. He's just attacking us while he's untargetable. Jax Fenrir. I'm guessing you changed. Was that always Jax Fenrir? Never mind. Are the optional parts of the quest worth it lore-wise? Some of them. Some of them. There are a lot of interesting side quests. If you're talking about specifically the those role quest lines from Shadowbringers, then I would say yes. I do think they're worth it. So that was interesting because we have had 2 Fenrirs and the other Fenrir asked about something else. We have Lone Fenrir and Jax Fenrir. That was just an interesting coincidence then. Fair enough. Is the optional parts of the quest worth it lore-wise? Do you mean what kind? Like, do you mean a specific quests? Oh, we don't have any melee. Did you mean a specific quest, Jax? The ones that needs the jobs. So the way that it works is that each of the stories are kind of like in their own like little section, and they're each very nice, like very sweet stories in a way. But if you complete all 4 of them, it leads to like a big finale quest that actually like adds a little bit more detail to something in Shadowbringers. You don't need it to understand the story of Shadowbringers. You don't need it. However, I would say that later in the Shadowbringers story, there will be a point where which of the role quests you have actually done impacts like what kind of like dialogue options you have. doesn't change anything story-wise. It's just like kind of sweet. Like if you did 2 of the role quests, you've acquainted yourself with 2 of the NPCs, and maybe you have a favorite. You get to interact with them a little bit more in the main quest. And there are sort of parts later in the story where they might come up. And I say might because I'm not going to detail where you're going to see them, but I'm just saying that the characters from these role quests are relevant in Shadowbringers. Relevant with a question mark because technically they exist. Technically they have small roles in the story, but they're so small that if you don't do all of the storylines, you're not going to notice. I hope that answers it. And Emia says, why did you set your pet size to max? I'm pretty sure they're set to minimum. Oh, by the way, if you're in the group and you want a break, you just say it. You don't have to stick to the group. Oh, I just now realized. Right, it was a joke. I didn't summon the Titan. No, that reminds me. Didn't Rory ever get one of these? It's an exchange of sweets. The feral one. It doesn't want to listen to Kai anymore. Came out of the book. Kai had to subdue it back. Shove it back into the book. It's a little big. Just a moment, and then I'll go into the normal raid. Alright. I wish I had like an infinite size group so I could also pick up Nilrory and just bring everyone. And now I feel bad because I disappeared while Nilrory was saying something. It's chaos! We're here to defeat chaos. I'm happy because chaos exists. Yesterday I said something about Strangers of Paradise. We talked about Final Fantasy 1. We're on chaos. I'm glad to see you, Neil. Absolutely. Whenever you guys are ready, let's go for it. Should I like start walking towards the boss? Should I just start casting? Onward! I can't remember what this mechanic is. Oh, that's a tank buster with no marker. Wonderful. Don't you love those? If I remember correctly, that one does not have a telegraph at all on Savage. I have been acquainted quite a lot with the Savage version of this fight, in that a long time ago at this point, we actually had a stream where I attempted to solo it. We didn't manage to do it, but we got extremely close. Yeah. Wait, did that do 0 damage? Oh, these are one of those where you have to actually respect the stack. It gives magic vulnerability. I'm pretty sure you die if you cross the beams. Oh, and Cyclone. Can't remember if that's a knockback, but I'm going to sure cast on the off chance that it is. Oh man! Holding on by a thread. Oh, there's the tank buster. Falcon punch! Oh, a knockback again. Big bang! It's like when you say that it's only the final point of HP that matters. It's as long as you still have like the tip of one toe on the arena, it's fine. You'll be good. Jack says, "Do you main summoner?" I suppose that's a complicated thing. If I were to join a Savage Raid team, for example, and they needed we need a lot of healing right now, and they needed a healer, then I would default to playing summoner. Like that would be the main. No, if they needed a healer, what am I talking about? If they needed a caster, if they needed a mage, I would play summoner in the raid. But if I were to choose whatever I like, I would probably play a tank nowadays. I'm probably more of a warrior main at this point. Like if we're talking actually what job I play. And I base that on the simple fact that my friend Sip, who is in the raid team right here, said I want to do the newest extreme. And I went, okay then, after he asked me enough times. And of course I prepared one job for this, and I prepared warrior. So by that token, I could probably say that I'm a warrior main, more so than anything else. But I'm pretty good at playing all jobs, when I'm actually paying attention. That is the common problem, is that I say that I'm really good at the game, and then I go on stream, and then I make a whole bunch of silly mistakes. Because I'm more focused on trying to be entertaining and telling stories while doing a rotation than trying to play perfectly. So that is a really roundabout way of saying I'm probably a warrior main, Jack Spendria. I hope that sort of answers the question. But Summoner is one of my favorite jobs, and it was also my first job. And back in Shadowbringers, where I actually was in a static for Savage Raid for a while, I mained Summoner. Nice. Run! Retreat before the loot gets distributed! Did the chat die? Did I say too much? Open the chests. I opened the one with the orchestrion roll. Jack says, I've taken a liking to Black Mage. I tried Lancer and couldn't take the repetitious rotation. That's understandable. I've actually heard... personally, I feel like many of the starter, like first many levels of jobs can be very, very boring. If you are very new to an MMO, especially of this style, then the simplicity of jobs like Dragoon, tanks, honestly, maybe even Summoner, may feel reassuring. But if you have experience with MMOs, like maybe you played World of Warcraft, then a job like Black Mage might feel more fitting, both because the fact that it has cast times makes the slower gameplay of Final Fantasy XIV less obvious in comparison to World of Warcraft. And Black Mage has a relatively complicated function, like way of play, even at very low level, where many jobs don't have that until later. Hoshi says, I started as Archer Bard, but died throughout the entirety of Heavensward, so after reaching level 60 I switched to Dancer. And Lemon says, I'm the complete opposite. I love Dragoon's static rotation. Maybe that's just my brain enjoying simple patterns. Doing whatever you enjoy is what matters the most here. But what I meant is more that, like, take for example Dragoon's rotation. At level 26, you have a 1-2-3 combo and a 1-2 combo and like life surge. You have some things here, but you have like 4 attacks that matter, and because of the way they're used, it's closer to like two choices. Like, do you need the damage buff or not? That's the only thing you need to decide. Compare that to Black Mage, where by level 26 you have a dot, the ice mode, the fire mode, you have AoE options, and you even have Scathe. It's not great, it's not good, but it does have its day in the sun, especially in this low level where you don't have that many better options. But you have options, you have considerations. Do you care about applying the dot? Should you be in ice mode now? Should you switch to fire mode? Do you need to stockpile MP? It doesn't sound like much, but it's way more than what Dragoon has by level 26. And I'm saying 26 because most jobs have like just like the bare bones of a rotation by that point. And yeah, exactly, Jax. Most jobs in Final Fantasy XIV feel extremely slow in the many first levels because you don't have anything to fill in the gaps. Some jobs don't ever get filled out, but most of them get some more speed to it. And Yoroi says, I tried to start with hard ones to make it challenging, so Monk, Black Mage, it was interesting. I started with Summoner in Stormblood, And I don't know how difficult it was compared to other jobs at that point, but I do know that in Shadowbringers it was for some time considered like the hardest job by some players. And I went, oh, we're doing savage raiding with some of my friends. All right. Which job does, like, I'm going to be DPS. Which DPS does the most damage then? Because I don't care. I'll just choose the strongest one. Summoner did the most damage at that very moment. So Summoner I was. Remember, we can only have one tank in an alliance group. Alliance raid group. Yeah, Nil says, everyone says Summoner's easy. I get Black Mage or Monk easier. I had trouble with Summoner for some reason. What turns into what? Still not the most logical for me. It's like a job where... Okay, let me just take that for a moment. It is something that most of the player base agrees pretty heavily on, that Summoner is the easiest job in the game, because if you know how the job's toolkit works, it is extremely simple. On my recent Summoner guide, the high level one, there was someone that left a comment where they said they were genuinely impressed that I could talk about the job for like 17 minutes. But that's because, let's say for example, at level 6 you learn Summon Ruby. You also learn Ether Charge. You have like at level 6 you get this Gem Shine button that does nothing, and it doesn't explain very well what it does. It says that it changes based on attunement effects. You read that and you go, okay, what's that? Then you read Ruby and it goes, oh, you need to have a Ruby Arcanum, and it gives attunement and it does some damage and it affects Gem Shine and Precious. Like it does. It's like 10 lines of stuff. Meanwhile, Dragoon has this, right? This does damage, use True Thrust first, does more damage. Summoner, oh, you get this buff, it makes these attacks do more damage, it lasts some time. Oh, it also gives you like these things. I'm not going to tell you what you use them for. You figure that one out. Find a different button. Oh, it spends one of them, and then it gives you 2 other things. How to use those? Oh, there's this third thing that spends them. And if you thought that was confusing, remember, if you're level 72, you know that Gem Shine turns into Ruby Rite, and you can read Ruby Rite right here. Where do you think the tooltip for Ruby Ruin is? There's no correct answer because it doesn't exist. The only way to access it is to go into a fate that scales you down low enough that you can actually see Ruby Ruin as the spell, use Summon Ruby, and then see Ruby Ruin and see what it does. So you actually only get a chance to see what Gem Shine actually does while you're in combat, which I'm sure doesn't make it difficult to learn, does it? And that's only some of it, right? Like, look at this. Look at this. It's the easiest job in the game. All of Summoner's buttons does like 30 things. The reason why it's easy is because all of this text is used to explain what it does. And it doesn't do that many things because they have specified exactly what it does. But it's so much. It is an overwhelming amount of information. So if you're not good at like reading and understanding tooltips in this way, and if you're a new player, you probably aren't, then Summon is really hard. So we have this problem where the easiest job in the game is the hardest to comprehend because it's so detailed. And Umia says, isn't it at the bottom? Nope. Ruby Ruin is not in the spellbook. It is not in the spellbook. If you're wondering how I got the tooltips for my guides, I teleported to a place where there was a fate that scaled me down to a level where I could access the tooltip. Which is also why the first bits of my level 1 to 50 guide has me wandering around random places in Lanosea and stuff like that. To show you the spell. And yeah, exactly, Lemon. Sometimes you get something really complicated, and other times it's just, oh. I also always make fun of the fact that most of the tanks have like an absurdly long defensive cooldown text. Like Bloodwetting is like 13 lines. Holy Sheltron is like 13 lines. Heart of Corundum is like 13 lines, and they each do 4 or 5 things. Right, sorry for doing a ready check again. I don't know if I even did one. But yeah, the thing is, Nil, that Black Mage, I mean, Black Mage is also one of those jobs where it doesn't explain that well what it does, like Umbral Ice and Astral Fire. I believe when you use them for the first time, or when you unlock them, oh, we didn't get Crystal Tower. When you like get them for the first time, they do explain that, oh yeah, when you get Umbral Ice, it makes you recover MP faster, and when you get Astral Fire, it makes your fire spells do more damage. But I'm just saying, if you're looking at the tooltips, and all you're told is that Astral Fire make damage bigger, it doesn't say by how much. If it's 5%, it's not that impressive, right? And the only way to know that Astral Fire 1 is 40% is to check or look it up. Because the game is not going to tell you. It's just not going to tell you. So you have to look up. That's also why my Black Mage guides like lead with that. By the way, Astral Fire does exactly this. Umbral Ice does exactly that, because the game will not tell you. It also makes it easier to fix. They don't have to change the tooltips when they adjust these things in the game. So that that's part of the reason, probably. She has 4 hands. Apparently. And C for Kaitsu. But yeah, it is like, I think the thing with like comedically, gigantically massive tooltips has been a thing that has happened a lot more with Endwalker. Like they've done this a lot, where they have a tooltip that they've pieced out into like, oh, it has like, it does this effect, it has a name, it has this effect, it has a name, and things like that. It wasn't very much like that before Endwalker. So many tooltips have become like a lot longer because of it. Ow. This is This is chaos. This, like, you thought the last fight was chaos, but this is chaos. I'm not sure what we're supposed to be doing right now. That's also true, Weaver. That that's kind of an additional problem that arises by them just like, instead of giving us more buttons, they're just adding a little thing to a whole bunch of buttons. Like, oh yeah, we're just adding 5 or 6 extra lines to 5 actions. We're just doubling the amount of things they... What? Ow. Hello, Needlemere. How are you doing? Hazian says, wait, Warrior has both reduces damage taken by 10% and also Stem the Flow, which reduces damage taken by 10%. Correct, it is 2 defensive cooldowns in one. And it is indeed layered mitigation, so to speak, in that it means that you take 10% less damage and also you take 10% less damage, which does exactly what you think it does. If you think about, if I don't know if you've seen it, my recent video on mechanics the game doesn't explain the fact that the defensive cooldowns stack multiplicatively means that the fact that Bloodwetting gives you 10% damage reduction means that it actually gives you like 19% damage reduction, because it first reduces it by 10% and then it reduces the remaining 10% by the remaining 90% by 10%, which is 9%. And the important thing here is also that the second 10% only lasts half as long. This might be very confusing, but the idea behind this is that they wanted to reward tanks for using their cooldown, like their defensive cooldowns, closer to when the damage actually happens. And by just having one of their cooldowns like happen twice, like double dip if you use it close enough to the actual defensive cooldown, they have accomplished precisely this. Hope that makes sense. Oh, that's okay, Needlemere. I was wondering what was happening. That's fine. I'm glad to see. I'm glad to hear life signs, though. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed the stream. It is very silly, Hazian, but it makes sense. I think the sillier part is that it leads to those extremely long tooltips. Like, whenever I have like one of those tooltips come in, like for example when I have those like as you see in my, if like, I don't know how many of you watch my job guides, but when an action upgrades, I usually have like a X upgrades to Y, and then like it flashes and becomes the new action. When the tooltip becomes like 3 times longer, I'm like, maybe it should like fall down and like shake the camera, or at least it needs like a sound effect of like creaking in from the side or something, because of just how enormous the tooltip is. I usually don't do it because I feel like it takes the focus away from what I'm actually saying. But when those tooltips are so massive, it's just, I'm sitting there like, I could make a joke here. And I don't know why they make them like that. I believe what's it? Dark Knight has a relatively has mostly relatively short tooltips compared to all the other tanks. I think. I'm pretty sure. If you're the kind of player that needs to be running around all the time, Summoner is a great job for you. As you can see, based on the fact that I've spent the majority of this stream just running somewhere. Ow. It's a command tower! I think I also in my tank comparison video, that's a while back, but I do believe in that one that I made fun of the extremely long tooltips of short defensive cooldowns. I think I did. Exactly for that reason, that they're so they're so insanely long. And then you remember that Nascent Flash has existed since Shadowbringers, and it was about as long in Shadowbringers. Oh, right! You said Dark Knight didn't have one, and then later you found the text on another ability. What ability was that? I can't even remember. I actually remembered, like, was like, wait, I remember that Dark Knight didn't have one, but I feel like I remember that I found out that they had one anyway or something. Living Shadow! Ah, yeah, that could be it. Is Living Shadow really long? I suppose it might be. And despite Living Shadow having a kinda long tooltip, despite it having that, last week we had a stream where we just talked about things in the game, the tea time stream, and we spent like a good 15 or 20 minutes just figuring out how exactly does Living Shadow work, because like, I mean, yeah, we all know kind of how Living Shadow works. It's not rocket science, but there is a difference between understanding that, oh yeah, Living Shadow like swings every so often, and knowing, oh, actually, if you use an AoE attack, but you're not in combat with your current target, then Living Shadow doesn't actually attack. Just as an example of something we discovered. And that means that all of the things the Living Shadow tooltip says... Oh yeah, Living Dead. Living Dead is like 15 lines, isn't it? Because it first explains how Living Dead works, and then how the follow-up mechanic works, and how Undead Rebirth works. Which is similar to how all of the other tanks' short cooldowns do like a billion things. But it's genuinely, it's been so long since I made that video that I can't remember. You could pull out, Hazian, you could have pulled any mechanic or any tooltip from Dark Knight out of a hat that I happen to know has a relatively long tooltip, and I'd be like, oh yeah, it's probably that one. But it is funny with really long tooltips. And with Summoner, I think what a lot of players forget once they've learned the job, because I don't have, like, once you've learned the job, you don't really look at the tooltips very much, I don't think. Maybe you check it for, like, a potency or something like that, but for the most part, you don't have to look at the tooltips. So it's very easy to forget that most of the Summoner's tooltips are ridiculously long. Like every time I hear a player says that they have trouble understanding Summoner, it's a combination of, well, Summoner's not that difficult or complicated, is it? And oh yeah, then you remember that they have the longest tooltips. Like they have so much text. Sib is saying he has problems finding his mouse. Now, if Sib checks the stream, he'll see where it is. Yeah, he got a new monitor, and it's a lot larger, so it might be difficult to find your mouse if it's normal sized. Like this is not workable. Like a tiny little speck on the screen. I can't work with that, at least. So if you have trouble finding your mouse on your screen, consider this. Oh, I remember this boss is difficult. Very easy to misunderstand mechanics and such. Crush Helm. Oof. It's not this mechanic. There's a mechanic a little bit later. I believe it's a mechanic where he hits in like an 8 shape. That's the one that really can be painful. If I remember correctly, at least. I feel like it's this boss. I feel like I remember getting a real beating from him because of it. Oh, there it is. And you see the telegraph like a half a second before it's too late. Like if you're not actively on your way out, it's too late. And you're going to get hit. Oh, that's going to hurt. Oh, it's not so bad. It seems like we have very helpful team members. I could see that that tank buster had both Feint and Edel on it. Like that's not something you see every day. Oh no. Oh no. I feel like I got like out of the bubble and then immediately got pushed into a telegraph. Embrace. What does that do? Is it like mines? That's my guess. I don't know. No chance of making that one. Are you serious? Again? The timer on that one is a little mean. Yo, that's scary. You just put mines down, and then we have to move around in this way. And then there's the mines again, right? Yes. And then a proximity AoE. That's a very interesting way to make a mechanic. Place down hidden traps and then have you like panic and run away. Oh boy. Oh, I thought we had less time. Oh, there was a limit break there. This is also a really mean boss. An interesting thing is that this boss employs a mechanic where it places like a face on your screen. And I don't know if it's fixed, but there was a long period at the start of Endwalker where these kinds of mechanics didn't work for some players. I don't know if it was a monitor thing, a graphics card thing, or what it was, but some players couldn't see it. And that was also a problem in Vanaspati, the level 85 dungeon. It's just, you just didn't get the tell for the mechanic. You couldn't do anything. Hazian says, passing on triple triad cards. I don't need the card, so I'll pass on it. Like, yeah, it's some free MGP, but I'm genuinely the kind of person that will just not use my MGP on anything. So I don't need it that much. And even if it's just a fraction of a chance. Okay, we were supposed to look away for that. Right. But yeah, I have a friend who went through a nightmare of trying to get some triple triad cards, because whenever they tried to get them, like, it was one thing to just try and like get the raid or whatever they needed to happen to actually get a chance of getting the card, but then the card also had to drop, and then they also had to win it. And a lot of the players in the group will be people that are just rolling on it because, hey, it's free MGP, right? So I can be at least not one of those people, right? If there is someone who's trying to collect. I already had the card, so I didn't need it. That was the idea. Where's the last shade? But I understand the confusion. Why wouldn't you roll on free stuff?
To see the depths of your own weakness laid bare. Maggots.
Shard of Emptiness.
You do not belong in my world. Step into nothing.
Step into nothing. Also very random. How the... Oh yeah, this one means do the opposite. That one meant look away. So that means look, right? Right. Very confusing boss mechanic, actually. Speaking of confusing boss mechanic. His true form has so many dots. I had flee, but I'm pretty sure I had the thing where I had to do the opposite. I think?
You will be judged.
That is actually quite a lot of dots in Endwalker. Oh, it's fine. I didn't want to use Enkindle Bahamut anyway. It's fine. It's fine. I don't mind. I didn't want to. It's okay. It's okay. I didn't want it anyway. I'm not mad. Asian says, I wonder how much raw health Alliance bosses have. That is an interesting question. I think it's something you could look up. It's just a matter of knowing where to look. Sometimes finding these HP amounts can be difficult. See, what was his name? The royal city of Rabanasper. I don't think it's easy to find the information. However, if you use a third-party tool, use at your own risk, you could just go and check. You could literally just go and check with such a tool enabled. But use at your own risk. Yeah, Kosadi says, I'm also the type who mostly only rolls on stuff I need. Yeah, sometimes I'll need on the cards, but typically I'm like more inclined to just go, I don't need it. because that gives the opportunity to someone who actually does need it. Like, I think a really good solution to the problem with the cards is that they should make it so that you can only need on it if you don't already have it. And if you have it, then you can only greed on it. I feel like that would solve a lot of issues. However, the problem is that that would lead to players specifically never actually turning in the card, so that they never actually have it. But that could of course be resolved by saying, oh, well, you won it once, so now you have it. Or making it so that the NPC that takes the cards will never accept a card that you have not redeemed yourself, so that there's no benefit to not using a card. Yeah, I know, Sip. That's why I said I don't really do that, because, like, I have quite a lot of MGP, I just don't use it. So I'll let other players have the opportunity to get some. But that was the last roulette. Sip says he has 2.5 million. Yeah, but you're saving up for a specific thing. The mount is not dumb. But yeah, I have considered maybe also doing the new raid on the stream now, but it's actually getting kind of late. So I was thinking of rounding up the stream. Because I feel like if we start doing some of the raid, then it would be a little bit of a shame to not do all of it, for example. You know what I mean? And I also have a feeling that there might be some people in the group that are like, well, I'm here now, don't want to leave while we're still doing stuff, so I don't want anyone to feel like they're trapped either. But yeah, we did manage to get the stuff that we planned on, and we even almost managed to do a summoner only dungeon. Thank you for coming, Kosavi. But yeah, with that said, if you like these kinds of streams, like the content on my channel, maybe you're new to the channel, maybe you've been here for a while, I would recommend the easiest way to keep track of when new stuff comes on the channel, if you don't want to be beholden to the YouTube algorithm, I would recommend coming on the Discord community server, where I post the weekly schedule. I post whenever there's a new video, stream planned, whatever, and then we also talk about all sorts of stuff. Recently, we actually been talking quite a lot about, like, advice for getting better at the game. In the classroom room. So there's tons of stuff, so want to be part of that? You can. Of course, if you check like your subscription feed on a daily basis, like I do personally, actually you might not need that to keep track of what's happening on the channel. But that is an option. And beyond this, in the next few days, I'm going to be putting out a few shorts on some jobs. And then Friday we have a premiere on Why Materia Matters. Thank you all so much for showing up at my house and joining for roulettes. Like, I think this is like the first time we've had like a stream where, well, we pretty much, I think aside from one dungeon, we had a full pre-made party from our side. I'm not used to having that, so that's actually really incredible. I'm not used to that. And speaking of a full party, on Saturday we're going to be doing a Rewind Replay stream, of course with my alt Small Kai, and we're going to try and see if we can have a full pre-made. I can't say exactly when we reach the final trial, but the reason why we want a full pre-made is because if we can have that, then we can use this little button here, so that we can get the true final boss experience. So if you have an EU data center character, and you have completed the Endwalker story and you want to be part of that, do make sure to check in on Saturday. I will probably announce in the Discord server when we're getting close, so that there's a better chance that people check in time. Because I really hope we can do that. Of course, the closest I can warn is that I'll be like, oh, we're doing the dungeon now, so get ready. And we're going to need 2 tanks, Imi and Sharo, so you can both be the shield. But yeah, thank you all so much. And I want the potato. I was really glad to see everyone. And do I have anything else? If you enjoyed the stream, I would really appreciate it if you would leave a like on the stream, so that the YouTube algorithm also knows that it was a really good stream. I feel like we're all things meant, I feel that this was a really awesome, I feel like we managed less. Normally by this time in the streams I would also have done the Alliance raid, the Euphrosyne Eurovision, and we didn't do that today. Instead we memed around trying to beat a boss, trying to beat a dungeon with no tanks and no healers, and that didn't work out, but it was really fun. So I'm really glad. It's really, actually, I'm genuinely, I mean it, I'm really happy. When I started doing streams, it was maybe one person was talking sometimes, maybe 2 or 3 sometimes. And generally, when I was doing the main quest streams, we had, sometimes someone could join. And nowadays, we have, oh, the dungeon is coming up. There's, 2 people ready to go, maybe even 3. We do a stream where we're doing dungeons, just dailies, and wham, we have a full party ready to go. It is a world of a difference. So I just wanted to say that it means a lot. So I'm really glad that you all want to participate, so thank you. And with that, all I have left to say is good night, or good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. I hope to see you all very soon. We might be doing some extreme trial tomorrow, but I can't guarantee how incredible it's going to be and how long it's going to be, but you'll see the planned stream if it's coming. Right? Good night. See you.